What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk Sports with Jake. Hope you're doing well. We all had a nice weekend. Let's start with the MLB standings update. We're going to do these roughly every week or so, and soon we'll be doing that even more frequently in that as we are winding down in the MLB season. We have a little over a month to go, about 5 or so weeks to go in the season. In first place for North American League East, in first place is the Toronto Blue Jays. They right now are just ahead of Detroit for the best record in the entire American League. You have Boston, who's been slumping a little bit. They were kind of really streaking for a while. They've kind of come back down to earth. They're 5 games back. The Yankees are 5.5 games out. They've been playing some better baseball lately. Just swept the St. Louis Cardinals, which was a big series for them to sweep. You have Tampa, 61 to 64. They've kind of fallen out of it. And Baltimore obviously at 57 and 67. They sold it on the deadline. They're out of it. Major League Central Detroit, still in first place. They were obviously, beginning of the year, were the best team in baseball. They struggled for a while. Been playing better lately. 73 and 53 right now. They've rebuilt that division lead to 8.5 games. Cleveland got, I think, to 5.5 or 6.5. Back up to 8.5 now. Cleveland losing their last few. Kansas City is at 63 and 61. You have the Twins, 58, 66 have fallen out of it. They, of course, did a major sell at the trade deadline. And the White Sox, 44 and 80, are just god awful. American League West, very tight. Houston, 69 and 55. Just still only a game and a half ahead of Seattle, was right there, 68 and 57. They split with the Mets. Mets were going to go split in that series, but they're still playing some good baseball. Texas, 2 and 63. For a lot of the year, they were not playing well. They got hot, but have kind of fallen off lately, and they're not playing well right now. They're starting to fade once again in the wild card race. Angels, 60 and 64. Not gonna lie, I thought they'd be a little worse. I thought this team was going to be beyond dreadful. They're just reject central over there. However, they're still a really good team. They've been very mediocre all season. They're not really even in the race. And the A's, 56 and 70. They're an exciting team. They have some exciting young pieces who have played well for them. That kid, Nick Kirk, is definitely going to win a American League Rookie of the Year. He's something else. But just obviously, they're still a bit away from being a true contender. They're not in the race right now. National League East, Phillies lead the Mets by 5 games. Phillies are playing decently right now. The Mets, obviously, for a while have been struggling. It's gotten really bad lately. However, you were able to get a split with Seattle. You blow those first 2 games, but you win those next two. You won the Little League Classic last night, which was a lot of fun, which it wasn't broadcasting on ESPN, because that broadcast is just horrible. I think those two 17-year-old kid casts with the 14-year-old silent reporter might be a better broadcast, but must say we won the last two. Obviously, Noel McClain makes his debut a couple days ago. He looked fantastic. 5 1/3 scores, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts. If he can start pushing deeper into games, he might end up being the ace of their staff before the playoffs start, to be honest. That's right. 66 and 58. Marlins, 59 and 65. They were red hot coming out of the break. They've fallen off since then, are playing well right now. Still overall had a better than I thought. I thought they were going to be dreadful. Just going and looking at that lineup, I was like, where's the production coming from? But you're still pretty much faded in the race. Atlanta, 56 and 68. They've gotten hot, actually. They've won 5 in a row. You just got Ronald Acuna back after that calf injury, after he came back for a month after coming off the torn ACL and was looking like an MVP. He's back once again. They're still miles out of it, but they're playing well right now. And the Nationals at 50 and 74 obviously are out of it. They fired the manager and GM a while ago. And also the Milwaukee Brewers, their 14-game winter was snapped yesterday, losing in extra innings to the Cincinnati Reds. However, they've won obviously 14 of their last 15 games, 78 and 45, best record in all of baseball. They are just on a roll right now. Timely hitting, great pitching, great defense. They got the whole shebang over there. They have the Cubs, who have been I've definitely come back into earth a lot to that red hot start. I've been playing great lately, but 70 and 53, they've fallen out of the division, but still in a good spot in the playoff race. The Reds are at 65 and 60, been playing some good baseball. Fun fact, they haven't been swept once this year, and they're absolutely right there in the wild card race. Cardinals, 61 and 64, they've lost 5 in a row. They've kind of hung around all year, kind of around the 500 mark. Have kind of stayed to finish rankings of a playoff spot, but starting to fade. They did sell off a bit at the deadline. And the Pirates, 52 and 73, they are just absolutely horrible. Now they sold off even more at the trade deadline. Actually, West Dodgers haven't been playing great. They think they have one of the worst records in baseball over the last like 6 weeks. They have not been playing well, but 71-53 still tiny those guys. Padres are 2 games behind them, 69-55. The Giants just getting out of their own way right now. I think the Giants have the worst record in baseball since Rafael Devers, which is almost obscene to think about. But they've fallen out of it. They are not playing well. Diamondbacks 60-65. Well, they've obviously been about around that all season. They've had a bunch of injuries. They're the major shelf of the trade deadline. The fact that they're only a half game behind the Giants in the standings, but the Giants traded for freaking Rafael Devers. This is a team that was considered a potential playoff team before they got him, and then they trade for him in Arizona, who lost their ace Tommy John surgery in like June or May in Corbin Burns, and then trade away all those big names at the trade deadline, and they're basically have the same record. It's crazy. And the Rockies are 35-89. They are god awful. They absolutely suck. They are 31 games out of a playoff spot. Goodness gracious. They may be mathematically only before the end of this month. It's August 18th. Goodness gracious. In the wild card race, you have Boston and Seattle right now are tied for those first 2 spots at 68 and 57. Yankees are a half game out of the first wild card, with them playing a lot better and Cleveland slumping a little bit right now. Cleveland's fallen now 3.5 games behind the Yankees. Kansas City is 4 games out. Texas has fallen 5.5 games out. Tampa 6.5 games out. National League Cubs remain that first wild card. San Diego's a game and a half behind them. They're the second wild card. Mets still hanging on to that second wild card. They're 3 games behind San Diego for the second spot. 4.5 games behind the Cubs for the first spot. Still 5 games out of their division as well. The Reds are now a game and a half out. St. Louis has fallen 5.5 games out. Giants have fallen 6 games out of the National League wildcard race. And also, to jump around to different sports, the Cleveland Browns have named Joe Flacco the week 1 starter. He beats out a collection of interesting quarterbacks. Of course, you have third-round rookie Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon, fifth-round rookie, of course, Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado. Then just whatever Kenny Pickett is and whatever Tyler Huntley is, he was added to the start of preseason because of all the injuries that they've had. But as expected, he was named the week 1 starter. And the Toronto Raptors of basketball, they promote their general manager, Bobby Webster, to be their next president of basketball operations. Their longtime president of basketball operations, Masai Ujiri, was let go right after the draft. And now Webster gets promoted to that role to succeed Masai Ujiri. Before we talk some football, the Ryder Cup in golf is coming up end of next month. Is at Bethpage Black, not too far where I'm from. Bethpage Black is located in Fallon, New York. One of the most famous and most difficult courses of Bethpage Black, at least in the Northeast, if not in the entire world. They've had majors they've had the U.S. Open there before. So many women qualifiers were named. For the U.S. side, it's been first 6 names are Russell Henley, Harris English, for Sky Scheffler, who has 37,000 FedEx Cup points. The next closest has like 14,000. He's on a historical run right now. It's either Schauffele, J.J. Spawn, so they did a breakout year, and Bryson DeChambeau. They've been named. The European team that has the Oman qualifiers are Rory McIlroy, Justin Rose, and Tommy Fleetwood. Most of those Oman qualifiers are going to come through probably the next few days. I know we have a tour championship starting this week. And then the rest of them will the captains choose those. I think they have until August 24th. So most of the squad will probably fill out within the next week or so, and then maybe a few captains will file in after that. Let's preview the AFC South and go in division by division. Whenever I can. Let's preview the AFC South. In first place, I have the Houston Texans winning it again. I have them going 10-7. I think Houston is still a bit of a flawed team. The offensive line is not fixed by any means, but they're just the best of the best in that division. The rest of the division is not very good. It's a very weak division, has been for a while. Houston, I think Stroud plays better. I think their collection of weapons is better. Nico Khan, I think is an absolute stud. No, he missed a few games last year. I think he stays healthy this year. You bring in Christian Kirk. I know Tank Dell isn't playing this year with that major injury probably, but having Christian Kirk, I think is a nice piece to pick up. I know he was hurt a lot last year, but before that, he was about 1,000-yard a year receiver with Jacksonville. Left previous couple of years, he's a good player. They get him basically nothing. You draft Jaden Higgins in the second round as well. Schultz is a pretty good tight end. You have Mixon there, who's a good running back. Another guy who missed a couple of games last year, but and which possibly could happen. He tends to do that from time to time, but should once again be mostly healthy at least. He's still a very productive back, especially when it comes to when the pass catching ability. Offensive line a little concerning. An already really bad line trade their best offensive lineman away to Washington and Laramie Tunsil. So that's not a great look just to get back up the collection of draft picks. They trade Kenyon Green, who was another starter last year, for CJ Gardner-Johnson, though I do like him. He is a good player to have in your secondary. So I think they may have added a few small pieces to the offensive line, but I'm really worried about that line. That was the main issue they had last year. I think Stroud, who obviously had a fantastic rookie year 2 years ago, took a step back last year, but still won a playoff game and a division title. Um, I think he plays a little bit better. I think the weapons will be a little healthier. I think the personnel is something a little bit better. I know he was kind of clashing with the offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick. He's out of there, which interesting how that turns out because Slowick, I thought did a good job. He's a potential head coaching candidate down the line. Gets fired. So with the new offensive play caller, we'll see how that looks. So I'm interested to see how that looks. Defensively, they should be very good. Daniel Hunter is very, very good. One of the league's premier pass rushers, very underrated. Will Anderson, more high draft pick. He's a great player. Those two guys are really good. They have a lot of nice pieces in the secondary. Stingley is a great young corner. You bring in Gardner Johnson to help out. You also have Jalen Pitre already there. D'Amico Ryan's a very good young head coach, great defensive mind. So that should once again be a very good defensive team, if nothing else. I know, by the way, they just traded John Mechie, a more second-round receiver, to Philly for a Harrison Bryant. So they get some depth at tight end. They figured Mechie was going to be at best a receiver 4, so maybe he wasn't. Maybe they weren't gonna have him on the roster or he would be buried. They want to give him a better opportunity. Still a young player. Who knows? Maybe his contract's coming up next year and then we're going to resign him so they get some depth at tight end with Harrison Bryant. But I think Houston comes out there just they're the best, not so great team in that division. In second place, I think for Jacksonville Jaguars, I have them going 7-10. They'll be a little bit better, but I still don't think they take a huge step forward. I'm not sold on Liam Cohen. I get he's a bright offensive mind. Hiring out an offensive minded guys seems to be the way to go, but not all of them are these geniuses. There are a few duds in there. I think Liam Cohen might be a dud. Look, Trevor Lawrence, the last 2 years has had season-ending injuries. He has not turned into a superstar we all thought he was going to be when he was first overall pick in 2021 out of Clemson. Now, you look at the rest of that roster. Look, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is a stud. You draft Travis Hunter. I don't know what that's going to look like. The kid's talented beyond belief. He picks a position. He could be all pro at that position for the next 15 years. But playing both ways, I really don't know how he's going to be able to do that. It's simply not possible. You're playing against grown men. You're not playing against 21-year-old kids anymore. You're playing against grown men. I don't see how that's going to work. But if he truly plays receiver the whole year, I think him and Brian Thomas should be a really good duo in Jacksonville. I'm not sure what's going on with that running back room. I know ETN's been on a trade block pretty much all off season. I heard he still might get moved. You have Tank Bigsby there, who they like. You drafted somebody else as well. What's his name? Byshawn's first name is Tubal or something like that. So you have a pretty busy running back room. Might not be room for all of them. Does ETN get moved in the next couple of weeks? We'll see what happens. And defensively, they were really bad last year. I don't really know what there's even much there. They're still in desperate need as a pass rusher. Trevor Walker's turned into a pretty good player, but still, they obviously should have taken Aiden Hudson first overall, not Trayvon Walker a couple of years ago. And I know you have who's it? Devin Lloyd, the linebacker, who's a former first rounder. I know you add Jordan Lewis to pair with Tyson Campbell at corner. That's a nice move. But other than that, isn't a whole lot to like on the defensive side of the ball. I think they'll be overmatched by Houston, and I'm really not sure if this kid Trevor Lawrence is truly elite. I don't know if he'll be able to stay healthy. So I'm not going to jump on the Jaguars and expect them to be really, really, really good. Yeah, that does to a very bad organization. They just brought in James Gladstone as the GM, brought him in for the Rams. He looks like he's 22 years old. Um, but there's a lot of moving parts in Jacksonville. They're very, very young. At the very least, they're a year or two away from even competing for a playoff spot. Third place of the Indianapolis Colts. I need to go 5-12. I don't hate the roster. Offensively, I think Jonathan Taylor is a fantastic running back. A little bit injury prone, will miss a few games every season, but if he can keep it to where he's been like the last couple of years, no more than like maybe 3 games a season he's missing, I think they'll be fine. Pittman's a very good receiver. I like Josh Downs a lot, even though like Pierce is not a bad deep threat. I love Tyler Moore. You take him in the first round, I think he could be a legit vertical threat at tight end. He's my top tight end coming out this year. The offensive line I think is pretty good with Braden Smith and Quentin Nelson. And they just extended the left tackle over there. They just locked him up. So they do lose, however, an All-Pro center in Ryan Kelly in free agent. They also lose one of the best young guards in the game in Will Freeze, both to the Minnesota Vikings. So that'll hurt. I like what they have on defense overall. DeForest Buckner is really good. In the secondary, you have some interesting pieces over there too. You brought in Cam Bynum, you brought in Travarius Ward, who I think bounces back now that he's kind of able to kind of reset his life. He's had a tough go of it personally in San Francisco, obviously, but just the quarterback group there with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones is just terrible. Daniel Jones, that's, you think of like who could be, a Sam Darnold, the guy who sucked for years, all of a sudden he gets in a better situation, starts playing better. Who could be a Sam Darnold? Who could be a Geno Smith? Who could be a Baker Mayfield? That seems like he seems like the guy. He goes to he gets a 1 year prove it deal, gets one last chance, on a better team with some better weapons and a better support system, but just I don't think the guy is good. I never thought he was good, even coming out of Duke. I really don't think the guy is good. And Anthony Richardson, mother of God, that guy is terrible. That guy is, I think by the end of the year, we'll be labeling him a large bust. Parva's on the Colts, Parva's on him just not being good. So I think the quarterback situation holds them back. I think they have a bit of a ceiling defensively. And Bernard Raymond's left tackle I was thinking of. And so although the offensive line's pretty good, and they have some pieces of defense I like the weapons they have. I think their defense, they do have a ceiling defensively, and just they're going to be held back by some really bad quarterback play. And then last place, I have a Tennessee Titans at 4-13. We're not sold on Cam Ward. He doesn't seem like the best leader in the world. I'm hearing he's getting in fights at practice. He got in the fight with Jeffrey Simmons today. And I like the running game. Tony Pollard's a good back. You have Tyjae Spears there as well. But the receiving core leaves a lot to be desired. Calvin Ridley is a good player, but there really is nothing else there. Brian Callahan looked really shaky in his first year as a head coach. Seemed like that simply lacked confidence. Seemed like just not a guy that really commands the room. Maybe with another year under his belt, they make some changes. They did upgrade the offensive line a little bit, and his dad, Bill Callahan, coaching the offensive line should help as well. Though he did coach it last year, and it wasn't that much better. Hopefully that helps defensively. I mean, I love Jeffrey Simmons. Not sure what else they really have going for them on that side of the ball. I know they made a move here or there. I simply think this is just a group that's just really, really young, very inexperienced, and simply not that good. I'm not so on the coaching staff as well. So I think this Titans team isn't that much better than they were last year. God forbid something happens to Cam Ward, where he's so bad, it's like we can't put this guy out there right now, or he gets hurt, even for a few games. Will Levis is out for the season, and season getting surgery back in training camp. So I don't even know who their backup is. It might be Brandon Allen, who shouldn't be in the league. So if he misses 3 games, they're going to lose those 3 games. And they're already looking at a double-digit loss season in the face, even with him fully healthy. I'm not saying I think he's going to get hurt, but God forbid it does happen. It's just not a good situation. I simply think the talent on the field just isn't superior to many teams. So I think they're in for another long year. I think they go 4-13 this season. So let's recap Triplemania, the Triple A wrestling show. I personally enjoy watching these shows. Obviously, I don't know a bunch of the talent that's out there, but Corey Graves does a good job explaining it. That's why Conan is there, though he is very, very boring to listen to on the broadcast booth. Having JBL there was so fun. That Nelson Mandela line, Dominic Mysterio, was hilarious. So that broadcast team booth was about as hilarious. I thought they were going to be kicked up with the Bordell Cup, which was just basically battle royal, Royal Rumble style. Dudes come out every 2 minutes or so. We had some interesting characters. We had La Parka come out first. We had a couple of legends who I wasn't familiar with, but supposedly they were legends, and it was won by Omos. First of all, the thing of him and Microman has gone super viral. That stuff was absolutely hilarious. Good for Omos. Look, Omos is not this super great technician in terms of giants. He's never going to be in the same boat as all the other great giants, Kane, the Big Show, the Undertaker, or anything like that. Mark Henry, but he's a fun guy, and he's basically used as he's the default. Oh, we need that the giant spot in any battle royal. Guys, 7'4", 350 pounds. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? He comes in, he kicks a bunch of people in the face. They realize, oh, we need to all throw him over the top rope simultaneously. He fills that spot very well. And I'm happy he won. He's obviously not from America. He's from, I forget where he's from exactly. Oh no, he's from Nigeria. He's the Nigerian Giant. He's from Nigeria. He's wrestled all over the world for WWE. So kudos to him for being the guy. Who knows? I'm not the most technical guy in the world, not the best athlete in the world, but you want me to win a battle royal in Mexico? I got you. You want me to go here and do something? I got you. So Omos won the battle royal. That was exciting. It was fun seeing Otis in the match. That was funny. With AAA shows, obviously, the talent doesn't match exactly what we have in WWE. So you kind of have to really kind of strip up the entertainment. So having guys like Otis and Omos in the Royal Rumble, in this, at these events, doing spots like you do with Omos and Microman. It's stuff that you need. It's why you see characters like Mr. Iguana and Psycho Clown and Microman gain so much traction. It's like I don't know if they're not the most technicians in terms of wrestling in the world, but they're funny and they're entertaining. And when that tournament's on, I want to be entertained, and they entertain me. So that's what I wanted. Obviously, you see Joaquin Wild from LWO was in the match. Then you had Dr. Wagner Jr. against Al Messias in the match. Wagner wins that match. Yeah, the Judgment Day. It was a mixed tag match. The Judgment Day, which was Finn Balor, Jimmy McDonough, and Raquel Rodriguez against Lola Vice, Mr. Iguana, and Hamburgerisa. That was a fun match. Judgment Day comes up with the win. With the help of Roxanne Perez, and we had Los Garza defend their AAA tag titles against Pagano and Psycho Clown. Pagano and Psycho Clown win the match. This was a good match. This was actually a very good match. Pagano and Psycho Clown are the tag champs again. These are two guys that are very athletic, a lot of fun to watch, very entertaining, and I had fun watching that match. And you had Flamer versus Fabi Apache versus Natalia. Triple threat. First of all, it took me about 10 minutes to really look into is that Natalia? I'm not used to her with braids for whatever reason, but Flammer wins. That match was a pretty good match. We had some cool spots of Natalia doing the double sharpshooter. Crazy that she's still going. I know she doesn't have a whole lot left, and she's been doing this a long time, but that's absolutely a future Hall of Famer. She's been doing this forever. And the main event was a fatal four-way. Bikini defended his AAA Mega Championship against Dom Mysterio, the Intercontinental Champion, of course. Dragon Lee and El Grande Americano, which is we all think it's a little bit Kaiser. It definitely is. Bikini retains the championship, of course. AJ Styles comes in and costs Dom Mysterio. I saw some funny graphic. It was like I think he went to not Australia, or maybe it was Australia. It was somewhere overseas, and he cost somebody else a match. I forgot if it was Dom or might have been LA Knight. Yeah, he went away to Mexico to cost Dom, saying like he'll travel across the country if he has a beef with you. But that was a very good match. Vikinha wins. Grande Americano got a fantastic ovation. And look, the character was very goofy, very gimmicky. I'm not a fan of it personally, having what I think is Pete Dunne and Telebay like the alternate El Grande. I don't even know if you would call it that. But Ludwig has done a fantastic job. Keep in mind, he's German and he's speaking in Spanish. So he's actually done a really good job. He was basically a babyface over there. He was over as hell in that match, especially when his entrance hit. So it was a fun match to watch. And then the next AAA event will be another Worlds Collide on September 12th. And the main event will be Dom against Vikinho from AAA Mega Championship. Overall, it was a fun show. I'm happy that Dragon Lee got to shine. He's really, really good. You had Rey Mysterio open the show. Of course, you inducted Conan into the Hall of Fame, which was a nice moment. He got a nice video package. And that was Triplemania. That's all we got for you guys today. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.